It's BT with the BT LeMans GP review. Let's get right to it. Oh, hey, Johan Tight Shoes Zarco did the damn thing, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm gonna go real quick through the rest of the thing and we'll get back to it. First of all, props to the French fans. We all talk about Jerez, we talk about Assen, which have great fans. You know how the Italians are. We know about them. They come out and support. But the French, I gotta get to that GP. No. The French support, and I don't know about you guys, but I just felt that in my bones, man. I got to get to that GP. The weather is shitty, but man, the people are fucking nuts. And that's the way I like it. So I got to get to that GP. Anyway, so right of the race in Moto3. Moto3 was old school Moto3. Came down to the last corner, a little bump and dump. The ride of the race for me was Antonio Jose Rueda. Or was it Jose Antonio Rueda? He and Manuel Gonzalez in Moto2 have, lack of a better word, big dick energy. Don't let me explain it. Men know, and women, I know you know. And that's what it is. I mean, I can't put a lack of a better word. Because like I said, when Antonio Rueda was first in Moto3, he was kind of like, you know, a little shy kid. He was talented. He was like, And this sounds like nothing, but when the camera showed him in the paddock, the way he was sitting kind of sitting like a grown-ass man who had responsibilities, you know, like he paid taxes and shit. Like he just got through having a beer with the boys, a couple cervezas, dos cervezas, with his amigos, and he was just kind of sitting like this, but he sat like a grown-ass man. I go, man, this dude's gonna win. He just exuded confidence. Like I said, big dick energy. We know why. And then when it comes to heartbreak, you got to go to Joel Kelso. Props to David Munoz. Look, that move was not dirty. He basically did a Hagen Deegan, Cole Davies move on it. I mean, he knew it was coming, but he took himself out too, and that's how Rueda won. And props to Joel Kelso. He kept it positive. He said, at least I got a podium. So it wasn't a dirty move. That movie had to be done because he left an opening, and like Ayrton Senna said, if you see an opening and you don't go for it, then it's time to quit racing. But anyway, so props to Munoz for getting the points. Props to Kelso for not bitching about it and being a little bitching about it. But Rueda, BDE, big dick energy. Speaking of big dick energy, Manuel Gonzalez in Moto2 exudes confidence the same way. Remember when I told you in Jerez last week when he goes, or a couple weeks ago, when he goes, I really can't see anybody beating me because I mean I run real well at this track and yeah, I can't see anybody beat. And he meant that. And I'm sure the women reporters were like, okay. Again, big dick energy. And props to Barry Baltus. He's not my rider of the race. The rider of the race is Manuel Gonzalez. Props to Barry Baltus. So I think why he's been up and down for the last 3 years, and I might be talking out of my ass, and I mean no disrespect. I think his mom was dying of cancer, and it had to weigh on him. It had to. But now that everything, I think she passed, and God bless her soul. And I think now that he's got his head straight, his head right, and he can just focus on racing. I think that was a big deal. I really do. I don't know. It's hard to ask somebody that question. Racing, man. But anyway, heartbreak goes in Moto2 goes to Danny Holgado. I think he finished out of the points. It was hard in Moto2 because they all finished, but the race was just okay. But let's get to MotoGP. That's what we're here for. Hey, come on, rider of the race. We know who it was. Rider of the race is Johan Tight Shoes Zarco, and it was great because Big Dick Rueda did the backflip, and I guess Zarco was like, "You gonna do a backflip in my backyard? You must be out your damn mind, kid." And so it was great to watch Zarco do a backflip after he won the race. It actually winning the race. And the heartbreak goes to Pecco Bagnaia. Oh my God. He got no points for the whole weekend. And he even said before the weekend started, which it goes to how I think, man, if you say something bad, the universe hears you and it multiplies. And he goes, hey, I can't get this bike to ride like I wanted, so it's going to be a tough year. And he said it, and he didn't score any points. Watch what you say, Pecco. And it was hard to watch Pecco, because Pecco's a two-time world champion, but damn. But let's get back to the race. Watching Zarco, and Zarco made it funny when he talked about how his dad was missing a tooth. I mean, even I watched his dad celebrate, and I go, why can't you buy your dad a tooth? But he goes, his dad had a tooth. And he goes, my dad had a tooth, but then he hurt himself, and then I said, Papa, you can... And I love Tight Shoes Zarco. I really do. He's an underrated rider. I thought he's always just been a little bit different than everybody else. And I mean a little bit different where most riders are this, but Zarco was just a little, in a good way too. Not like, no offense, not like Iannone where you go, That's a different too. I mean, that's a different. Where Zarco's like a different, or you know, and he's like that's a different. I love Zarco. Great props, Zarco. And let's just be honest, man. He kicked Mark's ass. I mean, he beat Mark by 20 seconds. But Mark said, and this is the great thing about Mark, right? And don't get me wrong, Mark has big dick energy too, but he's so, and he can afford to be a little cocky, but he keeps it under wraps. But he does a great job. He don't give enough credit for keeping it under wraps, but the honesty he had when he goes, the reason I finished the race was because I crashed in Jerez. And he goes, that's the reason I finished this race. He goes, if I would have finished Jerez, then I would have crashed in this race. And he said, because I know me. He said that. He goes, I know me. How great is that? As a person who knows who he is, and he goes, I know me. Knowing that he knows he gets crazy, but he wants to win. And if you watch that press conference, just watch Marquez. He's trying to hold it together, and I'm sure he was happy for Zarco, but he's in it to win it. He ain't trying to manage races, but he did manage that race. And he called off the dogs after about 2 laps. He goes, you know what, this is crazy. I didn't finish the race. I'm going to finish this race. And that's how you win championships. But here's what I take from that weekend. The winner of the whole weekend in MotoGP was Fermin Aldeguer. Aldeguer, that was his coming out party, all right? Zarco, and all the attention should be at Zarco. He won in France. He's the first French winner at a French GP since, 1964, 54? He's the first Frenchman to win in France. It should be about him. But Fermin Aldeguer, that was his coming out party. He finished in the sprint. The sprint was dry. There's no excuse for the sprint. The sprint was dry. Fermin Aldeguer, from here on out, listen, he's everything that, if you're his competitor, he's everything you don't want. He's young, he's hungry, and he's got nothing to lose. And that's the person you fear the most. I mean, if anybody, when you're walking through a parking lot and you see some kid, maybe who's poor, and he wants to fight you, you don't want to fight him. He got nothing to lose. And that's what Fermin Aldeguer. And it rained, and personally, he's taking the shine away from Pedro Acosta. Acosta's still talented. Don't get me wrong. Acosta's still talented, but Fermin Aldeguer is kind of like that dude. He's kind of like that new kid, the second semester of school, and he comes in and you know, like the song, there's a new kid in town. I don't want to hear it. There's a new kid. And that's what Fermin Aldeguer is. He really came out in, that's not really good to say nowadays. But anyway, he kind of made his presence a little bit felt in Austin, right, at Coda, but he crashed. But that's when you say, oh, there's something there. And if you really think about it, when Pedro's last year in Moto 2, remember when he had the championship pretty much locked up, Fermin Aldeguer was kicking his ass the last, 4 or 5 races? He realized 4 or 5 victories in a row. But it was Pedro. We were talking about Pedro Acosta, but then we were sleeping on Fermin Aldeguer. But then Aldeguer got the ride with Ducati before the season started. That's why I think his season went kind of shitty in Moto 2. But he is the talent that Ducati thought he was. Watch from here on out. Fermin Aldeguer is going to start taking points away from, I think he's going to start taking points away from Pecco. And I'm going to say it right now. He's going to take points away from Pecco, maybe Frankie, maybe Fabio Di Gianantonio. Fermin Aldeguer is going to be the dude that Ducati, like, I think he might be the most dangerous guy on a Ducati next to Mark. Next to Mark and Alex, I don't know. I'm telling you, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that. Watch, he's 2 points ahead of Pedro Acosta now in the standings. And like I said, Acosta was that new kid in town, but now Fermin Aldeguer's a new kid in town, taking the shine away from Pedro Acosta. And I'm telling you, folks, watch Fermin Aldeguer. He's going to be that dude. I can't wait for Silverstone. I talk about Aldeguer. The rain. I mean, you got to give the credit to the rain, even though I don't like it, and the race was crazy. You got to give it up for Mark in the rain, for Jack Miller in the rain, but Miller didn't finish. Miller's great in the rain, but he didn't finish. You got to give up to Mark, the way he manages that race. Mark is like, now, he's got the smarts. You know, when you're young, you don't know what you're doing, but you go all in. Mark is still all in, but now it's a little bit more cerebral, and that's the beauty of watching an older athlete who takes care of himself. It's kind of like Tom. Mark, kind of like Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady at MotoGP. He's still talented physically, but if the skill, and I don't see the skills diminishing actually, but he knows how to manage it. And let me tell you something, folks. Honda, what Honda should do now, and I think Zarco has shown his case to be, he should get that factory ride, but unless Honda wants to bag a truckload of money up to Pedro Acosta's house, I think Zarco's got that seat in Honda. Somebody's got to go. Whether it's Marini or Johan Mir, and I think you got to get annoyed. And I love Mir. It hurts me to say it, but I think you got to let Mir go. I mean, he hasn't finished. How many races has he finished? I mean, let's be honest. How many races? I love Mir, but how many races has he finished? Zarco's been on it all year long. Even though we're 6 races in, it's a long season because there's 21 races and 21 from 6. There's still a whole bunch of races to go. So we don't know what happened, but Zarco's proven his case, and he won. And how great was that, watching him give the speech? And he said he wanted to cry, but he just couldn't have the tears to come. If you don't love Zarco, man, you don't love life. It should just jump your monkey ass in a hole. Props to Zarco. Props to Marquez for just managing the race. But like I said, I think it was an ass kicking. Even though Mark managed the race, what Zarco did was incredible on the wet in front of his people. Damn, you gotta love GP. You just gotta love GP. Like I said, Fermin Alligator to me was the talk of the whole weekend that no one's talking about. If that makes any sense. He's the talk of the whole weekend that no one's talking about. You know what I mean? A podium in the dry, in the sprint, and then he was coming in the wet. Who knows? Maybe he would have caught Marquez. I doubt it. But coming now, from here on out, Maverick Vinales is happy. Pedro Acosta's getting there, but Fermin Alligator. Watch for him. Anyway, listen, I've gone way too long, but like I said, you're the only people I can talk to that know about GP, and I've been up all weekend watching race. I wasn't on a ship. I was actually here in town. So anyway, thanks guys for watching. Tell me, what was your storyline of the whole weekend? Because sometimes I miss shit that's right in front of my eyes. So what do you guys think? I know the rain was a great equalizer. It really is. And I hated seeing that, but then it was kind of cool to see the strategies, if that makes any sense. Anyway, thanks for watching. Tell me what you think your storyline of the whole weekend was, who the rider of the whole weekend was for you guys, and something I missed or something you guys think I should have brought up. So I love hearing your comments. Thank you guys so much. Sorry it was a little bit long, but like I said, long in tooth, but I was busy. Anyway, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Like I said, by this time, you know the word. Bye.